My name is Chuck Lusardi. I was born in 1932, December the 24th, Upper Michigan, born in a logging camp. Went to school in Escanaba, Michigan, high school in Escanaba. And in 1950, when I graduated in June, I went into the military service, regular Army. But prior to that, I had actually been in the Michigan National Guard since February of '49, having gone into the National Guard at 16 years old. But in 1950, I graduated, and my brother George and I both headed for Fort Knox, Kentucky for basic training. That was the 3rd Armored Division, was a training division at Fort Knox, Kentucky at that time. So from June to through August, we were in basic training in Fort Knox. And having been in the National Guard, both of us, we were with the Michigan National Guard Company C, 107th Combat Engineers. Unbeknownst to us, that gave us a foot up because our training company, which consisted of approximately 200 members, when we had completed our basic training, George and I were the only two called out, and instead of going to advanced infantry training, we wound up going to Fort Belvoir, Virginia for engineering training, which gave us the opportunity to pick a different course of career, if you want to call it that, where we chose heavy equipment operator as the thing we would like to do, knowing full well we'd be headed for Korea. And sounded pretty good. Having been born and raised in a lumber camp, we were familiar with heavy equipment, and we knew a big chunk of steel would be a good way to spend our time in Korea. We were in Korea from January 1st of 1950, 51, I mean, until April of 52. We started out with a maintenance outfit and transferred several months later to 25th Infantry Division, 65th Combat Engineers. And both of us were assigned a bulldozer individually, and we were separated and didn't see each other for the next several months. But our service in Korea was, as many, one of those that had its ups and downs, interesting days, exciting days. Not a lot of boredom for combat engineers because you are working every day. There is no reserve. Even when your unit is in reserve, you're out there doing things to keep the roads and whatnot in condition to keep the operations going for whoever's still active. Our time in Korea was one that had many different experiences for me personally. Probably the most meaningful experience was the incidents that related when we had Korean children that were very close to the front lines in situations that you just could not believe. And rather than talk about the difficult times that we had staying out of harm's way, I think the memories that come to my mind are more how the Korean people and the Korean children in particular conducted themselves and what they had to do just for survival. But Korea was interesting. Left Korea, came back in April of '52, went on to Fort Huachuca, Arizona, where George and I were with an outfit that was almost immediately called up to go to Europe. So we wound up packing up our equipment, hauling it up to Oakland Army Pier, getting on a ship and going through the Panama Canal, wound up in France and spent the next several months in France till the end of our tour of duty in 1953, in June of 53.